What's going on? Welcome to Blockchain Tech and Finance News with me, your host, KinToshi. If you're on the YouTube side, please do subscribe, turn on the bell notifications right here to Blockchain Tech and Finance News. This is going on every day, daily, during the weekdays at best when I can. Live weekdays during 8 a.m. EDT hour and Saturdays during the 12 p.m. EDT hour. We'll be doing here on Blockchain Tech and Finance News. All right, so I got a slew of different news articles today between blockchain, cryptocurrency, NFT, metaverse, technology, finance, and global couple pieces of global general news. So let's go right on into it. And if you want to check out my NFT art, you can check out Kin's art on OpenSea and Foundation. Follow me on TikTok, KinToshi Follow me on Instagram, KinToshi and follow me on Twitch, KinToshi for gaming, live stream, and extra content creation over there. If you're on the chat side, you can see your chats up here. So throw your comments in there. Throw your comments on the recap videos on the YouTube side. Otherwise, let's go right on into it, right? Let's go. We're going to start with the market conditions. Let's go into the U.S. markets. Make sure this is on the Jumbotron. Everyone can hear. Monitors are great. Cool beans. All right, on the U.S. markets, we got the Dow down 0.1%. S&P 500 down 0.33%. The NASDAQ down 0.09%. The VIX down 0.98%. And gold is up 0.29%. And oil is up 0.23%. In the Europe markets, we have the FTSE 100 up 0.35%. The DAX up 1.35%. The CAC 40 up 0.82%. The FTSE MIB up 1.3%. IBEX 35 up 1.27%. And the Stock 600 up 0.81%. In the Asian markets, with the Asia Dow down 0.75%. The Nikkei 225 down 0.6%. Hang Seng down 1.87%, Shanghai down 0.3%, Sensex down 0.68%, and Singapore down 1.39%. In the Forex markets, we got the Euro up 0.39%, the Yen up down 0.13%, the Pound up 1.5%, the Australia Dollar up 0.21%, the DXY Index down 0.49%, and WSJ IDX down 0.38%. In the rates market, we have the U.S. 10-year down 0.0466, Germany 10-year down 0.053, Italy 10-year down 0.188, Spain 10-year down 0.093, the UK 10-year down 0.247, Japan 10-year down 0.0034. In the futures market, excuse me, we have the DGIF up 1.02%, the S&P F up 1.11%, the NASDAQ F up 0.91%, the gold futures is up 0.33%, silver futures is up 1.09%, the crude oil futures is up 0.14%. On the crypto markets, we have Bitcoin, $18,704 per BTC, down 2.32%. Ethereum, $1,218.58 per ETH, down 0.61%. 6%. XRP, 45 cents per XRP, down 7.76%. Bitcoin Cash down 7.50% at $103.72 per Bitcoin Cash. Litecoin USD is down 5.82% at $49.16 per LTC, and Monero is down 5.49% at $136.10. So yeah, crypto markets are definitely pretty red right now, and we'll see how low that's going to take. I personally have a counterpoint that Bitcoin will see 15K. I've got another caller says Bitcoin will go 10K, and we'll see what happens here. But that's my call on it. Not financial advice. Do your own research and stay safe in the markets. Only risk what you can afford to lose. Let's see. Let's go right on to the first piece of news I have here. It's from Bitcoin.com, and it's about the Binance resolution to this hack that occurred the other day. This is from writer Jamie Redman for Bitcoin.com. In the news section, Binance-backed blockchain completes hard fork to mitigate future cross-chain bridge hacks. The BNB Smart Chain commenced the blockchain's hard fork on October 12th at block height such and such in order to add a security patch to mitigate cross-chain infrastructure between the Beacon Chain and Smart Chain. Binance, the BNB Smart Chain, suspended withdrawals and deposits on Wednesday in order to execute the upgrade. Not too long after, Binance noted that the upgrade was complete a touch after 5 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday morning. The BNB Smart Chain hard forks to apply exploit patch. 5 days ago, the BNB Smart Chain was exploited for roughly $100 million, and the chain was paused in order to address the issue. At the time, the hacker managed to leverage phony security proofs to exploit the blockchain network's cross-chain bridge. Following the hack, Binance announced that it planned to support an upgrade on October 12th that will add a security patch to the protocol that addresses the issue. Fellow Binance will support the BNB Smart Chain BEP20 network upgrade and hard fork to the exchange wrote on October 11th. The BNB Smart Chain BEP20 network upgrade and hard fork will take place at the BNB Smart Chain block height of here's the 22,107,423. That's the number block. Or approximately this time, deposits and withdrawals on the BNB Smart Chain were suspended. Binance further announced the halting deposits and withdrawals via Twitter when it said Binance has temporarily suspended withdrawals and deposits for BNB's Smart Chain, the BEP20 network, to support the network upgrade and hard fork. At approximately 5:16 a.m. Eastern Time, Binance explained that the BNB Smart Chain has resumed operations following the upgrade. Thanks for your patience and apologies for any inconvenience caused. The world's largest exchange by trade volume tweeted. While 4 tokens out of the top 5 by market cap have seen small percentage gains on Wednesday, the price of BNB has declined 0.4% against the US dollar during the past 24 hours. BNB has a 24-hour price range between $269 and $273 per unit on October 12th, rounded out. BNB is the 5th largest crypto asset by market capitalization and is down 60% since the asset's all-time high. Though 60% down from BNB's all-time high is a lot better than the 70 to 90% great losses a great deal of other digital assets have recorded since their ATHs. All right, so that's that news article there. The Binance-backed blockchain completes hard fork to mitigate future cross-chain bridge hacks. Great ideas. Let's go. Keep moving forward. All right, this next article is from Coindesk. This is in the marketplace by writer Will Canny. Ether becomes deflationary for first time since the merge via so says Coinbase. I don't know. There's a supply reduction of about 4,000 tokens over the last week as more Ether was burned, verifying transactions that was created. The reporters. All right. I gotta stop for a moment here. Ether reached a post-merge milestone this week as it became deflationary for the first time since Ethereum blockchain switched to proof-of-stake POS. Coinbase Coin said on a Thursday report. It became today is Thursday. It became deflationary as more Ether was burned, verifying transactions that was created in the same time period, which led to a 0.13 supply reduction over the last week, equivalent to about 4,000 tokens, the note said. The rate of new Ether creation has fallen nearly 90% since the merge, the note added. The merge was the first of 5 upgrades planned for the Ethereum blockchain and involved a transition to a more energy-efficient POS consensus mechanism. Some argued that a drop in the Ether supply would have resulted in higher prices, assuming demand stays constant. However, Coinbase notes that the price of the cryptocurrency has fallen about 4% in the last week. An Ethereum-based token project called Zen, XEN, triggered Ether's deflationary burn rate when it fueled a large spike in network traffic last week, the report said. All right, I have to look into what XEN is. But yeah, Ether becomes deflationary for the first time since the merge. So says Coinbase reports. All right, this next article, serving up here from Coindesk. October becomes the worst month for crypto hacks with 2 weeks to go. So again, October becomes the worst month for crypto hacks with 2 weeks to go. Over $708 million. $718 million has been stolen from DeFi protocols across 11 different hacks this month so far, per research firm Chainalysis from Soria Malwa, writer for Coindesk. October has become the worst month for crypto-related crimes with over $718 million in overall losses. And that's with 2 more weeks to go before the month ends. Data pointed out by Chain Analysis on Thursday noted that the amount was stolen from several decentralized finance DeFi protocols across 11 different attacks. 2022 will likely surpass 2021 as the biggest year for hacking in record. Chain Analysis researcher. So far, hacks have grossed over $3 billion across 125 hacks. So a tweet here about it with some graph rate. Despite the current bear, we're seeing a lot of activity among hackers who are targeting various protocols, said Jasper Lee, audit tech lead at crypto auditing firm Suho.io. What is this trying to load here? What are you trying to load? You're slowing things down on here. All right, let's keep going. For those protocols or dApps, decentralized apps which have not been thoroughly audited, they make easy for reliable short-term profit. Poorly protected protocols are low-hanging fruit for hackers who make easy pickings of their too easily accessed locked-ly added. Attackers gained over $3.2 billion in 2021, but this year was off to an even rockier start with a $325 million exploit of popular cross-chain service Wormhole, which was followed up by a $625 million attack on Axie Infinity's Ronin Bridge, and then a $200 million exploit on the Nomad Bridge. Obviously, we have the BNB Smart Chain right here as well. Attackers vectored the crypto sector range from exploiting bridges. That's we've been seeing largely, and the 3 bridges breached alone this month. And the BNB that we just wrote about that did the hard fork exploited illicitly, gaining over $100 million after the bridge was exploited for over $500 million. Then on Monday, the Layer 1 blockchain QAN platform was the target of a bridge hack that resulted in theft of nearly $1 million in QANX tokens. And elsewhere, Tuesday night saw $100 million in liquidity drained from Solana's popular Mango Markets trading protocol after a rogue trader manipulated spot token prices to borrow the entirety of the protocol's assets against their position. So yeah, October becomes the worst month for crypto hacks with 2 weeks to go. Let's go on to the next article here. It's nice to see the Binance chain making swift moves to counter and strengthen their bridging via the hard fork. So this news article I heard, and it sounds interesting to me. This is from Coindesk, writer Sandali for Coindesk in the policy sector. Tron partners with Dominica to issue national fan token. The Caribbean islands government may accept native Tron tokens such as TRX and USDT for public payments, including taxes, under a new ordinance. Blockchain network Tron has entered into agreement with the government of Dominica to issue a national fan token to promote the Caribbean islands' heritage and tourism, according to an announcement dated October 7th. Under the agreement, the Tron protocol is the island nation's designated national blockchain infrastructure. Cool. An ordinance issued on the same day shows that the Tron network's native digital tokens were granted statutory status, meaning the tokens are now authorized for use as a medium of exchange in the country. The government may accept Tron governance tokens such as TRX, BTT, and JST, as well as stablecoins pegged to the US dollar and Tron's TRC20 protocol such as USDT and USDD. As payment for public service, including tax payments, the order says. Private enterprises can also accept these cryptocurrencies as payment where necessary infrastructure for transaction is available. With the endorsement, Tron is also set to issue Dominica Coin DMC, a blockchain-based fan token, to help promote Dominica's global fanfare for its national heritage and tourism attractions, according to the government. I might try and find some of that DMC. That's interesting. It is unclear how Tron was chosen for the task with this open, probably because he's working for Geneva. He's a he's like a ambassador in Geneva now. Justin Sun. He stepped down from actually Tron as the founder, and that's like a DAO, Tron DAO. Yeah, but it's unclear how Tron was chosen for the task, but the open and cost-effective nature of the protocol will play a vital role to better integrate small island developing states like Dominica into the global economy in the future. Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt said in a press statement, Tron founder Justin Sun stepped down as the network CEO to become Caribbean nation's Grenada's ambassador to the World Trade Organization last year. He said at the time that he would focus on legitimizing crypto in Latin American countries. Cool. In Dominica, the exchange rates between Tron's native tokens and the East Caribbean dollar XCD will be freely determined by the market, while exchanges between the tokens and the XCD will not be subject to capital gains tax, the ordinance said. Coindesk has reached out to the government of Dominica and Tron for comment. But maybe we'll hear more about that. So I'm going to look into these Dominica coin DMC right there. All right, so that's Tron partners with Dominica to issue national fan token to celebrate their heritage. Let's see. All right, this next article is from Decrypt. We're going to keep going here. As Bitcoin plunges below 19,000 ahead of fresh U.S. CPI report, the world's largest cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, is on a downward trend again on Thursday today, falling to a 3-week low below 19,000. Let's go. Come on. Andrew, this is from writer Andrew Asmakov for Decrypt. As investors prepare for the latest core price index CPI for measuring inflation before the Federal Reserve's November decision on another interest rate hike, the price of Bitcoin plunged. The leading cryptocurrency is trading around 18,718 by press time, or down 2.7% in the past 24 hours per CoinGecko. Bitcoin last traded on these levels on September 22nd before seeing an upward move that took it above 20,400 last week. Today's bearish price action also puts the industry's largest cryptocurrency down 16.5% in the last 30 days, and as much as over about 7% from its historical all-time highs of almost $69,000 per BTC recorded in November 2021. Despite the drop, the leading cryptocurrency by market capitalization is still the least affected cryptocurrency among the rest of the major coins today. Ethereum, the largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization, has posted losses of 4.6 over the past 24 hours, trading at $1,240. Cardano ADA fell 9.5% over the span, followed by Solana and XRP, which are down 7.8% and 7.2% respectively. The U.S. Consumer Price Index will be released Thursday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, just probably now released. And while the analysts expect it will show some progress in the Fed's fight against inflation, it's unlikely to be enough to stop the central bank from another interest rate increase next month. All right, Consumer Price Index is released. Maybe we'll check in on that before we end the stream here. Let's go on to the next article here. It's from NPR. See if this works. Artist Damien Hurst burned 1,000 paintings, NFT non-fungible tokens. So Damien Hurst just burned 1,000 of his paintings and will soon burn thousands more. This is from writer Halisa Hubbard. British artist Damien Hurst is among the many art world giants who have set fire to their works, having burned 1,000 of his artworks Tuesday. He streamed the event on Instagram and is set to burn thousands more of his works. As part of this project, the currency it consists of a collection of 10,000 NFTs. Each non-fungible token corresponds to a physical painting featuring his signature multicolored dots made from an enamel paint on handmade paper. The pieces were initially available for $2,000, which is affordable compared to what Hurst's work has been known to go for. A lot of people think I'm burning millions of dollars of art, but I'm not. I'm completing the transformation of these physical artworks into NFTs by burning the physical versions. Hurst wrote in an Instagram caption, "The value of art, digital or physical, which is hard to define in the best of times, will not be lost if it is transferred to the NFTs as soon as they are burnt." Interesting concept. Let's watch this video. Handmade paper. And these are cool. This is interesting. Into the burning flame. All right. A year after buying a piece from the currency, collectors had to make a choice. They could either take the painting, meaning they would lose the NFT, or hold on to the NFT, meaning the painting would be burned. I'd probably hang on to the actual physical painting. The currency pitted Hurst foray into the world of digital art against his old school practice. I mean, I can get the physical painting And I could probably just scoop up one of the NFTs on the NFT marketplace. So I could have the best of both worlds and retain the painting. The currency pitted Hurst's foray into the new world of digital art against his old school practice, asking the art market to decide which is more valuable, wrote Arnett News' Caroline Goldstein. It's nice, it's interesting, very cool social experiment, most definitely. The buyers were almost evenly split in the decision, with 5,149 opting to trade their NFT for the original painting and 4,851 choosing the NFT. The pieces are being shown at the Newport Street Gallery in London and will be burned during the art fair Frieze London, which runs from October 12th to the 16th. An NFT is a digital identifier that confirms the authenticity of and ownership of a tangible or digital object. It acts as a sort of receipt, and its uniqueness makes it valuable. In the contemporary art market, art is traded like an asset and seen as a financial instrument. Filmmaker Nathaniel Kahn told NPR in 2018, NFTs are a new type of asset that can be commodified. The energy it takes to create them has also made them notoriously bad for the environment. Obviously, we switch over to proof of stake in Ethereum, so that's mitigating that completely by 99%. Many comments on Hurst's Instagram post about the burning were critical. Either way, it's all about the money, wrote one user. Interesting strategy on maxing the carbon footprint for the collection, wrote another. Damien Hurst, people just take any moment to just kind of say something negative, I guess. But, maybe this is a negative carbon producing fireplace. I mean, come on now. Damien Hurst just burned thousands of his paintings and will soon burn thousands more. Article in NPR from writer Halisa Hubbard. Right? Yeah, Halisa Hubbard. On to the next piece of news. You know what? Let's see if that U.S. Consumer Price Index came in. Now that it is 9:15 on the hour. Okay. Let's go here. CPI reports and the live update. September inflation report price. This is from 8:48 a.m. Updated price. September inflation report prices rise faster than expected. Here's what we know: the consumer price index rose to 8.2% in the year throughout September. Another stubbornly high result that spooked the markets. Inflation came in faster than expected in September. Bad news for the Fed. Investors recoil at another high inflation reading. Retirees are getting an 8.7% Social Security cost of living raise, the biggest in decades. Everything you need to know about Social Security's cost of living adjustment. Inflation came in faster than expected in September. Bad news for the Fed. Fresh inflation data released Thursday showed that the consumer prices climbed more quickly than expected. Bad news for the Federal Reserve as it tries to bring the most rapid price increases into 4 decades back under control. Overall, inflation climbed 8.2% in the year throughout September, more than what economists recently surveyed by Bloomberg expected. Bloomberg expected, through a slight moderation from the 8.3% increase in the year through August. The rate remains extremely high. Prices increased 6.6% after stripping out fuel and food, which tend to be volatile and often removed from inflation readings to allow for a better sense of underlying trends. An uptick in the so-called core index that was also more than economists expected. Still, Fed officials and Wall Street analysts will be more closely watching the monthly figures, including what happened between August and September. While the annual numbers reflect what has happened cumulatively over the past 12 months, the monthly data give a clear snapshot of how prices are evolving in real time. Those monthly figures offered reasons for worry. Overall inflation climbed 0.4% in September, much more than last month's 0.1% reading. The core index climbed 0.6%, matching a bad gain in the prior month. That price is far too fast for the Fed. Many economists expected inflation to moderate in the months ahead as supply chains heal. Declines in used car prices make their way to buyers and consumer demands pull back, but they expect the progress to be gradual as rents continue to climb and other service costs increase. But the progress has been bumpy so far. The Fed aims for a 2% annual inflation on average, though it defines that using a different inflation gauge, the personal consumption and expenditures measure, which will not be released until late October. Because fast inflation has lingered for more than a year and a half and has brokered into an array of goods and services, central bankers are likely to remain squarely focused on wrestling inflation lower. Fed officials have raised rates 5 times this year, and officials are expected to debate an increase of a half a point or 3/4 of a point at their upcoming meeting. The new figures will bolster the case for a bigger increase. Investors recoil at another high inflation reading. Markets plunge on Thursday as investors recoiled from another hotter than expected inflation reading that cemented expectations for another bumper interest rate increase from the Federal Reserve next month. Futures on the S&P 500 fell sharply lower, eroding earlier gains and dropping to a loss of more than 2% for the day. The fall becomes after another drop on Wednesday, the sixth daily decline in a row, which took the index to a new low for the year. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. U.S. government bond yields, which serve as benchmarks for borrowing costs, are influenced by Fed moves. Jumped. The two-year Treasury yield scored 0.15%. Percentage points, a big move for an asset that typically moves in hundreds of a percentage point. The Consumer Price Index report for September showed inflation rising from the prior month, the second month in a row that inflation has failed to moderate. Let's keep going. Skip about here because it's going to go on. Just basically, understanding how inflation and how it affects you. The inflation calculator, managing your finances, rising rents, and the cost of living. Right. So there's some articles there. And retirees are getting 8.7% Social Security cost of living raise, the biggest in decades. Social Security on Thursday announced an 8.7% cost of living adjustments for retirees, large inflation adjustments for benefits in 4 decades, a welcome development for millions of older Americans struggling to keep up with fast rising living costs. The cost of living adjustment for 2023, which will be applied in benefits to benefits in January, is based on the latest government inflation figures. The final COLA, as the adjustment is known, was released after the Labor Department announced the Consumer Price Index for September, which came in at 8.2%. Medicare enrollees can anticipate some additional good news. The standard plan, Part B premium, which is typically deducted from Social Security benefits, will decline next year. The COLA, one of Social Security's most valuable features, will give a significant boost to about 70 million Americans next year. While retirement comes to mind when most people think about Social Security, the program plays a much broader role in providing economic security. In August, the program paid benefits to 52.5 million people over age 65, but younger beneficiaries, survivors, and insured workers and recipients of disability benefits and supplemental security income. The program was for very low-income people added 17.9 million people to the total, according to Social Security Administration data. The annual inflation adjustment has been awarded since 1975 under a formula legislated by Congress. Policy experts have debated whether the current formula accurately measures the inflation that affects retirees, but there's little disagreement on the COLA's importance in helping beneficiaries keep up with the cost. With an eye-popping COLA on the horizon, the New York Times examined the backstory of Social Security's inflation adjustment, how it works, how it could be revised, and how it affects pocketbooks, from a statement from Mark Miller. And here's everything you need to know about Social Security's cost of living adjustment. Right, the Social Security Administration is expected to announce Thursday the highest cost of living adjustment in decades. The increase, known as COLA, is intended to help retired and disabled Americans keep pace with the rate of inflation. The raise for 2023 will appear in benefit payments starting in January. About 70 million Americans receive Social Security benefits, and many of them is a crucial part of their income. To find answers on your question in the adjustment, check out our explainer by Mark Miller, who writes frequently about retirement here in these links. You can check out all these links on the recap on the YouTube side on thereafter these live streams. I'm going to add this to the news. All right, here we go. Right after the burning paintings article for NFT news. That's interesting. There we go. Next article here is from Coindesk. New York Cares nonprofit highlights using Web3 for good with NFT fundraise. So the New York Cares nonprofit highlights the Stand with Students initiative dedicated to supporting underprivileged students. Will feature over 16,000 digital pieces created by OpenAI's DALL-E. New York Cares. Stand with Students, the nonprofit volunteer organization New York Cares, is embracing the world of Web3 philanthropy by selling non-fungible token NFTs to raise funds for Stand with Students, an initiative to help support local public schools that have faced disproportionate socioeconomic struggles exacerbated by the NFT pandemic. Although fundraising efforts have seen successes over the last 3 years, Keith A. Grossman, time president and New York Cares board member, told Coindesk that he's not only passionate about raising money for underprivileged students, but also about implementing technologies to propel a new wave of philanthropic efforts. In Web3, there's a desire and an intent for people to show that the space has tremendous good in it. Doing something like this is the best example to highlight the good, said Grossman. The collection will feature over 16,000 digital pieces created by OpenAI's DALL-E. Each artificial intelligence generated piece is inspired by different Winston Churchill quotes that are interpreted in the style of 13 artists, including Andy Warhol, Frida Kahlo, Jean Michael Basquiat, and more. Individuals who previously signed up for Grossman's About Nothing Allow list can now mint digital allow works that are priced at 0.05 ETH, about $65 each. That's a really good entry point. The site will be open to the public on Friday at midnight Eastern Time and will close Sunday at noon. So you can go mint these openly in public. Additionally, users who mint over 5 NFTs will receive a digital piece from artist Pablo Stanley's Humankind collection, and those who mint more than 10 will receive a digital collectible from Michael Johnson, the artist behind Aku World NFT collection. All the proceeds from the first and secondary sales will go towards bolstering academic programs, providing school supplies and enrichment programs throughout New York City. New York City Department of Education Chancellor David C. Banks said in a press release that he is ready to embrace new technology to uplift over 1 million students across roughly 2,000 schools he oversees. To ensure a bright future for our young people, we must collaboratively take a technologically driven approach to supporting our schools and our young people, said Banks. Several other efforts have also used NFTs as a philanthropy tool. In March, the Ministry of Digital Transformation of Ukraine created an NFT museum to digitize and reflect on moments from the Russian invasion, with proceeds donated to Ukrainian efforts. In October 21, a high schooler released a Solana-based NFT collection to raise money for beluga whale conservation, as well as children's hospital funds. That's really cool. All right, so you heard it here. New York Cares nonprofit highlights using Web3 for good with NFT fundraise. Let's keep going through the next article here. All right, we're going to go into some Metaverse news outside of the NFT news. Mark Zuckerberg sets expectations for his new $1,500 Metaverse gadget at rock bottom. This is from Steve Kovach, writer for CNBC. The key points of this article are: Mark Zuckerberg said there will soon be a trough of disillusionment around Metaverse technology. His comments set extremely low expectations for Meta's new $1,500 VR headset, the Meta Quest Pro. Meanwhile, investors are focused on Meta's core business, which faces some of its biggest challenges to date. Mark Zuckerberg, chief executive officer of Meta Platforms Inc., demonstrates Meta Quest Pro during his virtual Meta Connect event in New York on this past Tuesday. Critics and tech pundits weren't the only people disillusioned by Meta's new $1,500 virtual reality headset. Mark Zuckerberg himself was too. In an interview published Tuesday with The Verge, Mark Zuckerberg said VR, the technology he bet his entire $340 billion company on a year ago, is entering the trough of disillusionment. That's a term folks in the tech industry like to use when excitement around a new technology drastically wanes. His comments effectively place expectations for the success of the new Meta Quest Pro, which goes on sale October 25th at next to zero. At the same time, Zuckerberg reiterated his beliefs that the metaverse will be the next iteration of computing after the smartphone. It's just going to take a long time. Specifically, he told The Verge it's not going to be until later this decade, when metaverse gadgets like the Quest Pro will be fully mature. But Meta isn't selling headsets later this decade. It's selling them now and expecting technologists and software developers to invent compelling reasons to buy one. True. Yeah, that makes sense. That was the biggest takeaway from Meta's event Tuesday, not the hardware and what it can do, but the lack of compelling software and use cases to make you feel like you need to run out and buy one. If this was supposed to be on Meta's iPhone moment, it failed to if this was supposed to be Meta's iPhone moment, it failed to deliver. To keep in mind, this is all happening as Meta's primary business through Facebook and Instagram apps face crushing headwinds. Users are leaving Facebook Reels, Meta's TikTok competitor, has users leaving Facebook. Users leaving Facebook. It's just like one sentence. Okay. Meta's TikTok competitor has struggled to make money from ads amid poor engagement. As the Wall Street Journal reported last week, Apple's recent privacy updates made it more difficult for Meta to target ads to iPhone users. The stock is down a whopping 60% so far this year. Meanwhile, Meta is losing at least $10 billion a year trying to force the metaverse into existence, as Zuckerberg himself warns of waning interest in the concept. Yes, it's possible Zuckerberg will be proven right at the end of the decade or sometime in the 2030s, but But it's 2022, and the company has plenty of contemporary issues to manage before then. In a note to Meta investors Wednesday morning, Needham analysts praised Zuckerberg's risky ambition for the metaverse, but also noted the importance of assessing where the business is today. Our job is to make stock calls, the Needham analyst said, later adding, we admire Mark Zuckerberg's commitment to a vision in the face of overwhelming odds. Meta is willing to make big bets that may change the world for 2 billion consumers or create an epic fail. All right, so that's that, right? There's the new Quest Pro. Yes. All right. Let's keep going on here. We got a few more articles. I'm going to close out the stream for the day. It's from the information. Microsoft forms new team to target industrial metaverse. From writer Kevin McLaughlin. For the information, Microsoft's plans. Am I going to be cut off here? Well, I'll read the headwind of this, right? Microsoft's plans to use the metaverse to spice up decidedly unglamorous applications in factories and other industrial settings is beginning to take shape. Last week, Microsoft internally announced the formation of a new team, Industrial Metaverse Core, which that plans to help customers create immersive new software interfaces for operating the industrial control systems behind electrical power plants, industrial robotics, and transportation networks. Can I just, it wants me to sign up. I'm not going to sign up right now. The group's offering for industrial consumers will include technology from Bonsai, a startup Microsoft acquired in 2018, according to a person with direct knowledge on the matter. So, Bonsai lets mechanical aerospace engineers use machine learning. Let's see if I can find a full article here briefly, and we'll continue reading that, right? Otherwise, we'll just continue on. Okay. So, the groups. Bring me right back over. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Oh, I can. Yeah. Well, Bonsai was developing a general purpose application development service and simulation software that non-coders could use to add machine learning to industrial systems, according to a person with direct knowledge of the matter. The road ahead may be difficult to see, which is why more than ever you need a financial partner who can guide you through uncertainty. Never mind. I'm reading an article. All right, let's forget this part. Let's forget this. That's a flop. I'm trying to read this article. Let's go. Let's keep going. Interesting to say the least. I am interested in Microsoft putting the headwinds for target industrial metaverses. So when I see it, we'll read it. The world should be worried. Saudi Aramco, the world's largest oil producer, just issued a dire warning over extremely low capacity. Here are 3 stocks for protection. This is in MoneyWise section of Yahoo Finance for the finance sector of this stream. This is from Jingpan. Pan. I'm going to say Jingpang. Right. The global oil market remains tight, according to Saudi Aramco. Saudi, the largest oil producer in the world, and that does not bode well for a world that still relies heavily on fossil fuels. Today, there is a spare capacity that is extremely low. Saudi Aramco CEO Amin Nasser says at a conference in London, if China opens up, the economy starts improving, or the aviation industry starts asking for more jet fuel, you will erode this spare capacity. Nasser warns that oil prices could quickly spike again. When you erode that spare capacity, the world should be worried. There will be no space for any hiccup, any interruption, any unforeseen events anywhere around the world. If you share Nasser's view, here are 3 oil stocks to bet on Wall Street. Also sees upside to this trio. Don't miss. Invest your spare change and turn your pennies to proactive. I'm going to skip that little pitch here, random pitch. So we got Shell, headquartered in London. Shell is a multinational energy giant with operations in more than 70 countries. It produces around 3.2 barrels of oil equivalent per day and has interest in 10 refineries and sold 64.2 million tons of liquefied natural gas last year. It's a staple for global investors too. Shell is listed on London's stock exchange, Euronext Amsterdam, and a New York Stock Exchange. The company's NYSE listed shares are up 13.6% year to date. Piper Sandler and analyst Ryan Todd sees an opportunity in the oil and gas supermajor. Last month, the analyst reiterated an overweight rating on Shell while raising his price target from $75 to $80. Considering that Shell trades at around $50.50 per share today, Todd's new price target implies a potential upside of 58%. Then we got Chevron. Chevron is another oil and gas supermajor that's benefiting from the commodity boom. For Q2, the company reporting earnings of $11.6 billion, which more than tripled the $3.1 billion in the same period of last year. Sales and other operating revenues totaled $65 billion for the quarter, up 81% over the year. In January, Chevron's board approved a 6% increase in the quarterly dividend rate at $1.42 per share. That gives the company an annual dividend yield of 3.6%. The stock has enjoyed a nice rally too, climbing 32% in 2022. Morgan Stanley analyst Devin McDermott has an equal weight rating on Chevron, not the most bullish rating, but raised the target from $187 to $193 last month. That implies a potential upside of 23% for the current levels. And then we got ExxonMobil, commanding a market cap of over $400 billion. ExxonMobil is bigger than Shell and Chevron. The company also boasts the strongest stock price performance among the three in 2022. Exxon shares are up 55% year to date. It's not hard to see why investors like the stock. The oil-producing giant gushes profits and cash flow in the commodity price environment. In the first 6 months in 2022, Exxon earned $23.3 billion in profits, a huge increase from the $7.4 billion in the year ago period. Free cash flow totaled $27.7 billion for the first half compared to $13.8 billion in the same period last year. Solid financials allow the company to return cash to investors. Exxon pays quarterly dividends of 88 cents per share, translating to an annual yield of 3.6%. Wells Fargo analyst Roger Reed has an overweight rating on Exxon and a price target of $109, around 10% above where the stock sits today. All right, so that's this. Yahoo Finance. The world should be worried. The world's largest oil says the world's largest oil producer, and they just issued a dire warning over extremely low capacity and 3 stocks for protection against this. All right, let's go on. We got 2 pieces of news left, and we're going to close out the stream for the day. This is from the BBC. Let's see if it'll let us read. The China COVID rarest protest against President Xi before the party Congress. This from writer by Tessa Wong and Stephen McDonnell. A rare case against President Xi Jinping. China's COVID restrictions has taken place in Beijing, days before a historic Communist Party Congress. Images show 2 protest banners on a bridge in the northwest of the city. The protests appeared to have been swiftly stopped by the authorities. Frustration has been mounting in the capital before the Congress. There has been an outpouring of anger online as strict security measures and the COVID restrictions put in place. Authorities have tightened access to the city, shutting out many travelers, returning residents, and deliveries. Others had their movement restricted or were faced to quarantine. The images and footage of the protests have been circulating, showing 2 large banners unfurled on a bridge in Beijing's Haidian district. More people and more. Okay, so one read, no COVID tests, we want to eat. No restrictions, we want freedom. No lies, we want dignity. No cultural revolution, we want reform. No leaders, we want votes. By not being slaves, we can be citizens. The other called on residents to go on strike at school and work, remove dictator and national traitor Xi Jinping. So, the BBC is not responsible for the context of external sites on here, but the video from the scene showed unexplained thick volumes of smoke on the bridge and a man who could be heard chanting slogans into a loud hailer. A BBC team visit the scene later, found no trace of it, but there was a visible police presence in the area. The week-long 20th Party Congress, due to a kickoff on Sunday, will see about 2,300 top officials and party delegates descend from the capital. China's leader Xi Jinping is expected to be handed a 3rd term, breaking decades-long tradition and shoring up his already firm grip on power. Xi's path is to a certain term explained in another article here. The capital usually sees strict security measures in the lead up to important events. Street level security has been strengthened, with paramilitary police patrolling subway stations and neighboring neighborhoods near the Great Hall of the People, where the Congress will take place. All right, let's see here. I'm going to jump through. Authorities are cracking down on the use of virtual private networks, circumventing China's firewalls to restrict access to the internet beyond Communist Party control. In an attempt to stamp out small COVID outbreaks in Beijing, as the Congress nears, city authorities are enforcing much stricter measures than most other parts of China. Tens of millions of residents are being tested every 3 days, with screenings for entry into all buildings enforced and mask wearing mandates policed. Officials have also heavily restricted the number of people entering the city and discouraged residents from leaving. Many people who traveled to other cities during a recent National Day holiday found that their online health codes essential for travel around the country suddenly indicated they were at risk of COVID infection, preventing them from getting on trains or flights back to Beijing. Others who managed to return to Beijing saw a similar change in their health codes days after returning, according to online accounts, forcing them to quarantine at home. I don't understand why Beijing did this. I can't go to work. I'm about to lose my job. I'm so frustrated. When is it going to end? Said one commenter on Weibo. Another added, "We suffer all these just because someone has to hold a meeting. Why torment the ordinary people? The authorities have implemented their policy unreasonably, and so the credibility is down the drain. How could people trust them?" Asked another. Because we're amid a growing fatigue among the ordinary Chinese with the zero COVID strategy, and has seen harsh lockdowns and quarantine measures long after other countries have eased restrictions. How the zero COVID is spoiling Xi Jinping's party. Several incidents, including a bus crash that killed 27 people who were being transported to quarantine camps, have sparked public anger. The frustration is at odds with the celebrity mood for the 20th Party Congress on display on state media and institutions. Red banners marking the Congress have popped up around the Capitol, and popular mobile apps have changed their display colors to red. A drama recapping the highlights of the past 10 years of Mr. Xi's rule and has begun airing on primetime television, which similarly themed exhibitions are being held around the country. State media outlets have rolled out material in support of official policies, including zero COVID, using Chinese people to strengthen confidence in and have patience with the current pandemic prevention and control policies. All right, so that's this article here. China COVID, rare protests against President Xi before the party Congress. All right, so this last article I have here is in the general news. We're going to close out the stream for the day. Going on the past the 9 a.m. hour. It's from CNBC, the Russia-Ukraine live updates. So, kamikaze drones and missiles hit North and South Ukraine. The Kremlin denies Putin discussed war settlement. This is CNBC's live blog tracking. This is from writer Holly Elliott. Ukraine has been faced with more missile strikes overnight, with critical infrastructure in the Kyiv region being hit with drone strikes in the southern city of Mykolaiv, massively shelled, according to the city's mayor. In the wake of several days of Russian missile strikes, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has been calling for more international assistance in the form of their air defense systems. In his nightly address Wednesday, he said the more audacious and cruel Russian terror becomes, the more obvious it is to the world that helping Ukraine to protect the sky is one of the most important humanitarian tasks for Europe. Power and water supplies are still damaged in a number of regions after Russia targeted critical infrastructure across the country in spikes on Monday and Tuesday. To a lesser extent yesterday, Zelensky said that the power supply had been fully restored in most parts of the country, while work was ongoing to repair the electricity supply in 4 regions. Russian President Vladimir Putin is expected to meet Turkey's President Erdogan on Thursday. It's expected that Turkey could formally offer to host peace talks between Russia and the West in a bid to end the war in Ukraine. The Kremlin denies that Putin and Erdogan discussed war settlement. The Kremlin's press secretary denied that Russian President Vladimir Putin and his Turkish counterpart Recep Tayyip Erdogan discussed what he called a Russian-Ukrainian settlement to the war during their meeting in Kazakhstan Thursday. Dmitry Peskov told Russian state news agency RIA Novosti that the leaders' meeting lasted about an hour and a half, but that the topic of Russian-Ukrainian settlement was not discussed. It was widely expected that Turkey could be meeting to formally offer to host peace talks between Russia and the West in a bid to end the war in Ukraine. Ankara has positioned itself as something of a broker between Russia and Ukraine during the conflict, helping to negotiate the restarting of grain shipments from Ukraine and prisoner swaps. Again, this is from writer Holly Hyatt. So they can go on about the power restored in Ukraine. The grid operator warns of the work ahead, and the Putin says Turkey most reliable route for gas to the EU. There's a risk of Ukraine running out of ammunition before Russia. So, yeah, search for missing people. Satellite images showing the damage. So there's a lot of different news articles taking place here under the one hood, but main source is kamikaze drones and missiles hit north and south Ukraine. Kremlin denies Putin discussed the war settlement in this article. So this is it. All I have for the news today. In the stream, if you are on the YouTube side, definitely please do subscribe, turn the bell notifications here to Blockchain Tech and Finance News. And we will be back. I'll be back tomorrow. Again, I have all these news articles on the recap on the YouTube side. This is everyday blockchain tech and finance news at best. Unless something comes up, I'll make an announcement. But otherwise, it's live weekdays during the 8 a.m. EDT hour and Saturday during the 12 p.m. EDT hour. So smash the subscribe button. And if you want to check out my NFT art, you can search KinsArt on OpenSea and Foundation. Follow me on TikTok, KinToshi Follow me on Instagram, KinToshi and follow me on Twitch, KinToshi for extra content and gaming live streams as well. All right, y'all. Have a great and safe day wherever in the world you are. Stay safe. Cheers. Ciao. Peace be with you. Otomashigas.